Hey guys, what's going on? I'm here to review My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 5, Episode 17. Welcome my fellow bronies and anime fans alike. Here we are here to review Episode 17. Now, this episode review is actually... it's not going to be that long, really, because it's actually... it's a very simple episode. Nothing too, nothing too, incredibly huge. But it was actually a really... Now, compared to last week's episode, this was such a much better episode compared to last week. And this is actually, one of my top favorites because it's... We already had because we thought we didn't have enough of ALOT and Big Mac Senpai. But now we got fucking... Oh my god. Now we got cross-dressing Big Mac Senpai. I was like, oh my god. I'm like... Oh, jeez. Granted, it's kind of like, a lot of people find it trolling that he's kind of talking more in that feminine voice than he... Now, that's what I thought at first. That's what I thought. I'm like, oh, this is just really funny, but it's also massive trolling at the same time, because I really want to hear Big Mac talk in sentences without the feminine voice. Yeah, we heard it, also... way earlier in the season with the Apple Bloom episode, but that was mainly a dream, or in this case, a nightmare. That wasn't, it was basically a nightmare. It wasn't really an actual event where he was actually talking for real. It was kind of creepy too, the way they switched it up with the different ponies and the voices, but still, it was what the hell. This time around though, however, it's more the lines of reality, but he's talking in that feminine voice. But it was still really funny regardless. But the main thing about this episode is that this is actually canon related to Made in Manhattan, when Rarity and Applejack were called from the map to actually go to Manhattan to solve a friendship problem for Coco Pimel. This time around, it's, this takes place at that event, but, while they're actually at Manhattan. This is actually going on with the whole Sisterhood social. Now, we thought this was just going to be, brushed aside pretty much and not really shown on how this was going to work. But no, apparently the writers really said, you know what, let's make this a fun idea and try to actually see what would happen if, while they were gone, who would take their place and stuff. And it was really interesting. Also, what was really cute that I really loved to seeing Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo actually bond as actual sisters. That was cute and it was awesome. I was actually yes, finally they're actually bonding like sisters, and I love it. It was really good just seeing those two bonding together. It was really cool. It was awesome, and they played fair. It wasn't the race with Applejack and Rainbow Dash, how she kind of cheated a bit. And it's kind of, and at least she didn't go the whole cheating route. She's actually quite grown from that, and she didn't fly during the final event, during the race and stuff. The same race that Rarity, aka Applejack aka Rarity, because in that episode, Sisterhood Social, it was really Rarity that was disguised as Applejack in those events with Rarity. With Sweetie Belle. God damn it. So that was that. So this is pretty much also a sequel to that particular episode of Sisterhood Social with Brotherhood, but instead in this case the title was called Brotherhood Social, and which shows that Big Mac. Now, in terms of the beginning, we see that Granny Smith is pretty much trying to find this prize ribbon of the earn for whoever wins the Sisterhood Social. Meanwhile, though, we see that Big Mac is trying to fit in and trying to, be the, try to be, bonding with, her sisters again. She did bond with Apple Bloom back in the day, but after she's kind of well, not grown up a lot, but grown up into more an older child, we see that Big Mac is sort of getting, well, a bit jealous that, Applejack is pretty much getting, the big sister, big hero to look up to, every single, every single day, and not really, Applejack's. Not Applejack, Big Mac. So it seems that Big Mac is starting to get that feeling that maybe, what's the point of me being a big brother if all she's gonna do is just praise, Applejack and all that. So Applejack was going to talk to Big Mac about this personally, but unfortunately the map actually called her we're ready to go to Manhattan. And we already know that episode. I don't want to get into that. Even though it wasn't a bad episode, it was okay. It was a decent episode. But out of all, this was such a better episode. I just enjoyed the hell of it a lot more. We see that instead, Big Mac felt bad for Apple Bloom, that she really wanted to win this competition. But unfortunately, it comes at a fair price. Now, I am so glad that the ending result was I was like, yes, because I swear to God, if they were to win from that event, I would have been pissed off. Like, literally, like, come on. How can you just give it to them quite easily? I was so glad when Big Mac got busted. I'm like, okay, if they win just for this, and they let them off too easily, I was literally going to be, like, face-palming, that's Hiro Mashima status right there. Like you don't do that shit. But thankfully they didn't go with that route. But I'll explain a bit later. We see that Big Mac has an idea to cheer Apple Bloom up to see if she can actually still win the event, even though she doesn't have Applejack. So what happens is that Big Mac creates some kind of cousin, which I forget the name, and he cross-dresses as a girl, and I thought it was pretty freaking hilarious. And I felt bad for now. See. Here's the thing I didn't care for about this episode too much. The only little nitpick complaint I had was Apple Bloom. Apple Bloom was sort of a little bit of the problem, and here's why. Apple Bloom really wanted to win, and it's like she's acting like a spoiled brat because she wanted to win, and stuff like that. Now, I think to me that's sort of a little bit of a nitpick I have with the episode, was Apple Bloom being a total brat, but don't worry about it, just wait until next year, just chill out, wait until next year and wait until Applejack comes back, and then you can event. At least you get to see Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo compete, and hey, you could have been, and Sweetie Belle was a true player, and I'm like, thank you. Sweetie Belle even said, hell, even though my sister is not even here, it doesn't matter. I'm with you guys, and at least I get to cheer one of my friends on, Scootaloo. So it was really nice. I liked Sweetie Belle's, reaction to that. But Apple Bloom's like, I want to win the ribbon. I'm like, oh my God. That's the only little nitpick I have about the episode. But other than that, I still thought it was a really great episode. It was just that one little nitpick I had with it, which is like, why? Just why? Mainly, though, it could have been a really perfect episode if it wasn't for fucking Apple Bloom at the beginning. But more on that later. So we find out that Apple Bloom finally gets to compete, and Big Mac kind of seals the deal. They kind of figured the whole time, the judges weren't stupid. They knew it was pretty much a stallion the entire time. And even Rainbow Dash said, "I'm not going to go easy on you just because you're a stallion." I'm like, isn't that the other way around? Shouldn't it be like him not going easy on? Well, okay, maybe, because boys and girls, I don't know. It's really weird. I always thought it was like the men going easy on the girls instead of the girls going easy on the men. That's kind of weird, but okay. So, that's what she just said. And even Rainbow Dash even sort of knew. Rainbow Dash wasn't even stupid. Even Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, they all knew. They weren't really stupid. But mainly, they get into the events just perfectly fine. The old guy, maybe he's gay for cross-dressers. I'm just saying, that old guy pretty much was enjoying the hell out of him. Maybe he didn't know that was really a stallion in women's clothing, but I don't know. Maybe he just likes cross-dressers. Who the hell knows? I mean, he's got to do something before he goes to the beyond up there. So, hey, that's fine, let him enjoy himself. That's fine. Maybe he's into cross-dressers, or he's just senile and blind, but whatever. But mainly we get to the events, and we see Apple Bloom, and I forget the name of her cousin that she chose or made up for the name, but whatever. So we see they're in there, and they do the events proper, the one singing event, which was funny. The song was actually pretty good, but it's a little Big Mac kind of singing like a feminine female. So it was kind of weird, funny, but it was a really touching song. I liked it, but it's it was a nice song, but it's weird just to hear Big Mac as so feminine, just singing with fucking Apple Bloom. It's what the hell? And then the last note was funny. He actually sounded like a guy, or that deep singing voice, the tempo, because in the last season with the ponytones, he had that really deep voice. That's what he did at the very end, and people were like, "What the hell? I thought you were a girls shouldn't sing that low." And it's well, it goes, and I just got a frog in my throat. I think I just have to like go like get some water or something. So it's like it was kind of weird. So they do have like all the other events. Like the main event is basically the race and stuff. Every other event was fine. The main final event was the race that they have to do, and the race. Big Mac just pretty much destroyed everything with brutal strength, brutal force, just to try to, like, the way, like, he dove into the fucking barrel of the grapes, and it broke, and Apple Bloom landed in the, little jar container thing. That, I thought that was actually pretty funny, but I'm like, at the same time, dude, you almost kind of killed your sister there, so, watch your strength, like, kind of hold back a bit. Like, we see him just like wrecking the place. Like, I mean, they did the events quite well. I mean, they did the grape part with the juice. They did the hay part, going into the haystacks. And I like how like Big Mac just like threw one hay, then it's like fucking fell in a pile of other sisters. That shit was actually pretty funny. And then what I really like too is like the very end, with the mud stuff and like all that. So after they do all that, like the entire thing was actually pretty funny. I like how like he's running and like all these sisters are all just like fucking, all these women are just scared of him. It's like, oh my god. It's like, it's hilarious. I mean, they still won the race fairly. I mean, at least Rainbow Dash played fair. No wings allowed. That was actually nice. I was actually glad. But in reality, because of the whole strength and actually hurting other, poor sportsmanship on just trying to win, unfortunately, though, they were disqualified from the race, even though they finished first. And the real winner was Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo, which I was like, okay, that's good. I'm glad they didn't go with the whole, it doesn't matter, you still win, you put on an impressive show. That would have been too easy. It would have been, like, predictable. Thank God they got disqualified. Thanks, Celestia. I was so happy about that. I was like, yes, good. That's a good way to actually teach them a lesson that will bite them in the ass. So at the very end of the episode, we see Big Mac just hanging out at the tree outside the apple orchard, and he's feeling kind of depressed about her not winning the actual ribbon. And Apple Bloom was like, you know what, I'm sorry, it was kind of my fault. Then Apple Bloom finally redeems herself and learns a lesson. And learns her lesson. And we see that she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to actually cause all this. It's not like I'm disqualified forever. I can just wait next year with Applejack when she's around, hopefully, and then we can just compete again. Then, Big Mac kind of felt bad that he wasn't talking. He was doing the whole usual yep and nope and stuff like that. And then finally, once Big Mac finally talked without all the feminine voice he had, oh man, the words he spoke was just so deep. He really just wanted Apple Bloom to look up to him just like she did growing up when she was little. Because it seems like, it seems like you think that Applejack is more of the big sister, the more lovable hero material, and I'm just, your brother and nothing really else, nothing too special, and he feels like mighty depressed and I can't do anything. I'm just like, just someone who's like strong and too strong for my own good. And I mean, well, hey, at least this is a good lesson compared to Trouble Shoes, at least thing. So at least that's a good thing. So then, we see Evelyn's like, that's not true. You're really, my hero too. You've always been there for me. Even though you do silly things, you'll always be my big brother. Like, touching stuff like that. A lot of feels to behold. And wow, I literally could not express myself anymore when I actually heard that. I'm like, wow, this is actually really deep. And the way they bonded, I was like, oh man. And I really did get the feels like a lot. And I'm like, whoa. Like, I almost started to tear up a bit. Like, wow, oh my god. Like, I really didn't think Big Mac was this deep. And now we understand why Big Mac doesn't really talk too much. Because he's kind of a little shy of his own words. Like, he's afraid to express his own voice. Kind of like what Fluttershy was when she couldn't sing in public. It was kind of the same way. Like, he's more sentimental on things. Like, he just doesn't like to speak a lot on his mind unless it's really meant in situations where it's deep. Unless when he really wants to, then he will speak his mind. But most of the times he just likes to say yep and nope and stuff like that, like the usual Big Mac will say. So yeah, that was pretty much. And then at the end, even though Granny Smith said that Applejack was home, she's like, nope, I just want to spend time with my big brother here, and that's fine with me. And that was a really sweet ending. It really was. So that was the episode a whole, it was a really great episode. I really loved it. A lot of feels, a lot of comedy, perfect balance. Definitely way better than the last episode because, again, it's a breath of fresh air. We're finally done with the rarity episodes. Oh, yay! Like, now we're finally getting into normal episodes. It was great to see a normal episode again without focusing too much on rarity. So I'm actually really happy that we finally get to focus on more characters and more of these upcoming last episodes of Season 5. So I am so happy about that. So, when it comes to this whole episode, again, I give it about a 4.5 out of 5. Great to great plus episode. My only little complaint again was at the beginning with Apple Bloom just being kind of a little brat, at least to me it is. And that's pretty much about it, really. So overall, it was a really great episode, and let me know what you guys think. So that's pretty much my thoughts. Give me your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below of this week's episode of MLP. If you definitely liked it better than the last episode, definitely for me, hell yeah, I loved it way more. So until then, that's basically it. I am Ninja Reviewer, signing out. Peace. MMA manga fans, keep supporting much media, much, and bro hoof to the bronies. Brony on, guys. Stay tuned next week for episode 18. I'm trying to remember exactly what the episode was again. It's not the Christmas episode. No, it's not the Heartwarming Me episode. I think it's not the Pinkie Pie. It's not the Cadence one either. I forget. I gotta look it up again. But anyways, yeah. So just stay tuned for next week, episode 18. Yeah. Later, guys.